Okay, Lecture 6, Food Labelling. You'll do quite a bit more of this in food product development in Semester 2, but it does feature somewhat in your marketing strategy, so it's reasonable to do it here, and there's an exercise at the end for you to do. Okay, that's what we've been covering. Regulations. Not going to go into vast detail about the regulations. If you're interested, this is a good resource. The FSA has a range of free courses. It might be a good holiday option for people interested in the food industry or interested in developing their own business. You can be doing it at your own pace, and they're perfectly doable within 2 or 3 weeks. Our regulations originate with the EU, and so far as we know, are being translated directly into UK legislation post-Brexit. But there's I guess a key definition there of what is a food business operator. Is what really matters. What you must tell the public on pre-packaged food, there's legal requirements. We've mentioned this a little bit earlier in the module, but I think it's worthwhile reminding ourselves of it. Each requirement, of course, has specific guidelines, and again, you'll do this in much more detail in the second semester module. More information is required. There are distinct requirements for front of pack and back of pack information, and that's what we've got on the front. As we can see, much of the detailed information is on the back of the pack. This isn't very surprising, since the front of pack is often used for key marketing information, as you can imagine. The name of the food has to be accurate but also clear to the consumer. Hence, we would use a widely known name for a particular fish rather than its Latin species name. Traditional names are also used, so Welsh rabbit is actually cheese on toast, and sweet mincemeat is made from fruit rather than meat. Okay, ingredients. These are the main ingredients listed in descending order when added to food, and it's a legal requirement to place them on the label. Don't worry too much about the details of this for this module. Again, more in second semester module. As we'll discover a bit later on, some values may change during cooking, such as the amount of fat increasing, but again, that's more something you look at if you are developing a product which is affected by that sort of thing in the semester 2 module. We are well aware of the importance of allergens and the legal requirement to label them in pre-packaged food. We've covered it before, not just in this module. As previously discussed, takeaway foods such as sandwiches will be legally required to label allergens, but not until spring 2021. Although responsible companies are already doing this. Okay, so dates. 2 distinct indicators, one based on safety, the other on quality. Again, there's a good link there to Food Standards Agency on the difference between use by and best before dates. You'll need to consider which of these are appropriate for your product for this module. It may be one, it may be both. In terms of what they're going to be, just look at similar products. Okay, so the quid. You'll be doing a lot more of this in semester 2. The quid tells the customer a percentage of particular ingredients in a food product, and it's required in the circumstances described on this slide. If you want to sort of read about it, there's a good link here. Again, a link to a FSA resource on this. In some cases, a quid declaration is not needed, such as, for example, if something which contains varying proportions, such as a vegetable soup, which may contain a range of different things. Again, more detail in FPD. Cooking changes the composition of food, with water losses and fat intake being 2 of the most important factors. Here are just some example calculations for fish fingers before and after cooking. Obviously, grilling rather than frying would prevent fat uptake here, but there would still be water loss, of course. Again, some more background reading on food labelling. There's lots of good stuff out there. So, nutrition and health claims. We discussed this before. For your product marketing, you should be considering whether it meets any of the permitted nutrition claims linked through here and also in previous modules. So see those links in this one as well for more information. There's just some examples of foods which are making permitted nutrition claims, so low fat, high fibre, low sugar, as defined in this list here. Again, we've seen this video before, but it may be worth a look as a reminder why nutrition claims are usually much more practical than health claims. So you should be thinking, in terms of marketing, does your food meet any of these criteria? If it does, tell people about it. It's what people are interested in, and it will help promote your product. As noted, health claims are much harder to establish, and this information here is just included for background, really. It's quite a lot of detail, again, in the European Food Safety Authority's information, which is linked in various places. This is why we should only stick to the ingredient claims rather than health claims. The EU has authorised only a small fraction of the health claims submitted to it, with a number of categories seeing no authorised claims at all. You can see that link if you're interested for more background reading. If you're interested, or maybe looking for a career in ingredients technology, this paper is well worth a read. Go into a little bit more detail about why things are as they are. Here's a summary of the process for antioxidant claims. We'll notice that only 18 out of 557 claims are successful for this category. That's about 3% in an area that's of considerable interest. There's a lot of research done on this. In most cases, the claim is rejected on the basis of insufficient evidence for a link between consumption and some beneficial physiological outcome. So, for example, an ingredient having an antioxidant effect in the lab study is one thing. Demonstrating benefits in humans is a much more difficult thing to do, and is often very hard to establish cause and effect. Okay, so here's an exercise for your assessment. There's just a quick review of the issues: labelling, ingredients, dates, nutrition declaration. Allergens are probably the main things to look at here. Draft a label for your product. Don't worry too much about knowing all of the ingredient details. That's more for food product development. Just consider the general categories and bear in mind this links directly into your marketing strategy. Okay, so there we are. Thanks for listening.